UFC 315 is on our doorsteps, and today I'll be bringing you guys my full card predictions and breakdown for every single fight on possibly the shittest pay-per-view card of the year. This one might honestly take 312's title for that, but either way, if I like the card or not, I'm still going to be here to break down the fights for you guys, so let's just get right into it. For the first fight, almost said pay-per-view. For the first fight on this awful pay-per-view card, we have Brad Katona. Hey, Brad Katona. And he's going to be taking on Beksat Almakhan. Here's the thing. I don't think Beksat's actually good. I think he only has height because he dropped Umar. People forget that he still got 30-26'd by Umar, even if he dropped him for a second, all right? But, listen, I get that there's some hype around him because he landed some big wing and overhand on Umar, but I don't think Beksat's actually that good. But the thing is, I think he's good enough to beat shit. I think he's good enough to beat Brad Katona, dude. I think he's good enough to beat Brad Katona. As we know about Brad Katona, he won tough twice. I don't even think that's a flex, dude. You had to win twice, and you still might get cut again. If Brad Katona loses this fight, chances are he's getting cut again. Winning tough twice and getting cut again is insane. Brad Katona, what are you doing? But on a real note, this guy's not that good, all right? He won probably the worst season of tough ever, had to switch teams just to do so, lost his last fight. I mean, this guy's not that good. He got smoked by Garrett Armfield. I don't think Brad Katona is going to be anything, and I think that Beksat's going to be able to beat him. Neither of these guys are going to be anything, but I think that Beksat is going to be better than the worst. So give me Beksat Almakhan over Brad Katona. Moving up the card, we have Ji Young Lee. Ji Young Lee. And he's going to be taking on Daniel Santos, and I absolutely love this fight. I really think this fight's going to be super, super good. Both these guys are very, very good strikers, and they're both kind of chinny, all right? Listen, I get in Ji Young Lee's last fight, he kind of just got lit up by like a 40-piece combination by Haider Emil, but I have definitely seen Daniel Santos take some shots that I feel like he should have taken a lot better, if that's all I'm going to say, all right? He did have a great win over John Castaneda. He knocked out John Castaneda. That was very impressive, and you know what? Johnny Munoz is a pretty decent win too, but Ji Young Lee, I'm definitely going to side with Daniel Santos in this fight. I just don't think that Ji Young Lee is going to be able to put together enough on the feet to get the job done. Daniel Santos has way more UFC experience and has fought way better competition. I think that Daniel Santos would probably beat Haider Emil. So, yeah, I reckon Daniel Santos would whoop Haider Emil. I don't even think this fight's going to be very close. I think Daniel Santos is going to really whoop his ass here, and I think that he's going to put it on him in the first and second round. And if he doesn't put him away in the first and second, maybe he slows down and Ji Young Lee can kind of find his groove. But unless Ji Young Lee shows some type of grappling that we just haven't seen yet in the UFC, I don't see him getting the job done. So I'm going to take Daniel Santos by a first or second round KO. Moving up the card, we have Marc-Andre Barriault, and he's going to be taking on Bruno Silva. And here's the thing about Bruno Silva. Usually I'd pick him here. And in a lot of Bruno Silva's recent fights, I have been picking him. But time and time again, he just shows me that he's not the same person that he used to be. He's not the same fighter anymore. All right, Bruno Silva used to be very good. I remember right when he came into the UFC, I thought he was super good. Like when he fought Alex Pereira, I remember thinking, man, Bruno Silva, he's good. I think he actually might have been ranked at the time when Alex Pereira fought him. After Alex Pereira beat him, and Alex Pereira beat him up, dude. And Bruno Silva took Pereira to a decision, by the way. He's 1-6. 1-6 in his... Are you kidding me? 1-6, Bruno Silva. And it's like he looks good sometimes, but I just don't think I could pick him. And here's the thing about Marc-Andre Barriault. Marc-Andre Barriault is not that good either. But if there's anyone that'll just stand in the pocket and kind of just let anything be done to them, you know,
I think it's Bruno Silva, because the problem with Marc-Andre Barrieu is that his style is so simple and one-dimensional that it just never really works on anyone. But since Bruno Silva doesn't really have anything to impose on Marc-Andre Barrieu, I do think that he's going to be able to push his pace and have it be just a big one right here. Just stand in the pocket right here, throw left hands right here, you know? And I think that's how this fight's going to be, and I think that Marc-Andre Barrieu is going to really control this fight, and I think he's going to win every single round and just cruise right on to a decision. Moving up the card, we have Navajo Sterling taking on Ivan Erslan, and I know that Navajo Sterling looked very, very slow on the feet against Tuco Tokos, and I know that Navajo Sterling failed one too many takedowns against Tuco Tokos, but he's got aura, dude. He's got the aura. When I look at this guy, Navajo Sterling, I just see the aura about him. And I could just see him going to the top of the light heavyweight division. I don't know why, but I promise you, this guy, Navajo Sterling, is going to be ranked inside the top 10 of that light heavyweight division one day. He looked very, very good on the regional scene. I was not very impressed with his debut against Tuco Tokos. He gassed faster than I thought he would, and his boxing did look kind of slow. But he's got aura, dude. He's got aura. But, you know, he actually does have a lot of power. He has some really, really good kicks, and his wrestling is pretty freaking good. So, I do think that Navajo Sterling is going to be very, very good in the UFC. I think he's going to make a very big run. And I think that he's going to kick it off by taking out Ivan Erslan. Ivan Erslan had the most NPC fight ever with Ion Cutelaba. I watched the whole fight back 20 minutes ago, and I can't even tell you what happened, all right? This fight was so freaking boring with Ion Cutelaba. It was kind of just nothing fight for 15 minutes, and they just went back and forth doing nothing on the outside, leg kicking at range. And I think that Ivan Erslan's going to get caught and dropped and put out by Navajo Sterling. Navajo Sterling has shown to have good power, and he did seem to wobble around Tuco Tokos a couple times back in their fight. So I do think that he's going to be able to do it again to Ivan Erslan, and if he can do it again to Ivan Erslan, I think that he's going to be able to put him away. These young prospects have been working and improving so much in their game, and I think that Navajo Sterling's going to make huge jumps from his last fight to this fight, and then from this fight to the next fight. So I'm going to take Navajo Sterling by a first or second round KO. Moving up the card, we have Ion Cutelaba, and he's going to be taking on Modestas Bukauskas. And Modestas Bukauskas, since getting cut from the UFC after Khalil Roundtree almost snapped his leg straight off, he actually has made a pretty good run for himself in his second run in the UFC. He's 4-1 on a 2-fight win streak, and his only loss is to Vitor Petrino. But give me Cutelaba! Ion Cutelaba is on a 2-fight win streak, and his momentum is at its absolute max right now. He's coming off of a submission win in his last fight, which he almost never gets. He totally dominated Abu Aslan. I did not think he was going to do that. I picked Abu by KO, but now he's going to be taking on Modestas Bukauskas. And Modestas Bukauskas, although he's coming off of a knockout win, it's a knockout win against Rafael Caquera. And Rafael Caquera just shells up and covers up against the fence whenever he gets hit with anything clean, ever. So of course he's going to go out. But Ion Cutelaba was taking on Abu Aslan. Abu Aslan, undefeated fighter, coming in with its momentum high. Turkish power, screaming about Turkish power at the weigh-ins, dude. Abu Aslan thought he was going to sleep this guy Ion Cutelaba, and Cutelaba put the hands on him early and mixed up the wrestling immediately. And I think that if he mixes up the wrestling in the first and second round with Modestas Bukauskas, he'll have no problem cruising to a 30-27 decision. Moving up the card, we have Jessica Andrade taking on Jasmine Jasudavicius. And how many more of these prospects is Andrade gonna fraud check? All right, she's done it countless times. Never seems to stop doing it. I think her road ends here for Andrade. I think Jasmine Jasudavicius is gonna destroy her. Andrade has definitely not had the best record in her last few fights, definitely lost more than she should have been. She got slept badly by Yan Xiaonan. She got destroyed and pieced up on the feet by Kyrene Silva. I kind of forgot what her name is. And now Andrade is fighting Jasmine Jasudavicius. Jasmine Jasudavicius is one of the best women's MMA prospects right now. She's on an insane win streak. She's shown great improvement since her UFC debut. She used to be not that good of a fighter. Jasmine Jasudavicius is way better than she used to be, and her grappling is amazing. Her control is very good. She's had a few super dominant performances on the come up, and usually if you have some sort of power, a good grappling base, and a few dominant performances, that should be good enough to beat Jessica Andrade in a WMMA fight. So, you know what? Give me Jasmine Jasudavicius. In the featured prelim bout, we have Charles Radke. Say it again, Radke! And he's going to be taking on Mike Malott. Say it again, Radke. That's kind of what Charles Radke's been pushing this whole time. If you guys don't know, Charles Radke, after having a super underwhelming, disappointing performance against Blood Diamond, got on the mic and said a certain word that starts with the letter F that I'm not allowed to say, alright? But he said it once, and now he's threatening to say it again. And I hope he says it again in Canada, because there are a lot of those. There are a lot of those people in Canada. And I think those people that are in Canada are not going to be too fond of Charles Radke. So I'm praying that he beats Mike Malott, all right? If you want my honest answer, I'm not in any way rooting for Mike Malott. Mike Malott got totally fraud-checked by Neil Magny. How do you get knocked out by Neil Magny? How? And then, in his last fight, he barely edged by Trevin Giles, where they both threw basically nothing. And they both did basically nothing. It was super underwhelming. It was not a performance that you want to come back to if you're Mike Malott. And I'm going to be honest, there's not really that much hype behind Mike Malott. I mean, he used to be a prospect, kinda, but he's a notorious can crusher who loves to go to a decision and doesn't really do that much on the feet. And I think that that's going to be really bad for Charles Radke. Charles Radke is definitely one to push the pace and get in your face from the get-go. No matter who it is, if it's Blood Diamond or Carlos Prates, he's going to be pushing the pace and getting in your face from the start. And despite getting knocked out by Carlos Prates, which, you know, that sucks, right? He's been putting together a pretty good run for himself in the UFC, and he's had a couple of really good KOs. And I think that his ability to push the pace on the feet is just going to be way too much for Mike Malott, and I think he's going to knock him out in the first round. I do not think Canada is going to be too happy with this one. Radke, say it again. Give me Charles Radke by a first round KO.
Now we're on to the main card, but I'm about to announce a fight that feels like an early prelim. We got Benoit Saint Denis taking on Kyle Prepolek. Is this the best we could do, UFC? Is this the best we could do? Yoel Alvarez did pull out of this fight on pretty short notice against Benoit a few days ago, but the UFC brought in Kyle Prepolek, a former UFC fighter that went, I'm pretty sure 0-2 or 0-3 in the UFC, got cut, won one fight on the regional scene, and is now back in the UFC. He's going to be looking to take on Benoit Saint Denis, and he's not going to win. What do you want me to tell you? I do see what the UFC was doing, though, trying to get an underground Canadian fighter like this to open up the main card, because if Kyle Prepolek gets some kind of win, he's going to blow the roof off Canada. Or Canada, not Canada. He's going to blow the roof off that Canadian place that they're at. I don't even know where they're fighting at. But, yeah, I mean, I see what they were looking for, getting Kyle Prepolek. But, yeah, I'm not going to pick him to win. Give me Benoit Saint Denis. I think he's going to dominate him. Give me Benoit by a first or second round submission. Moving up the card, we have Alexa Grasso taking on Kyrene Silva. And I don't know, is it Kyrene or Kyrene Silva? I don't know. We got Kyrene Silva taking on Alexa Grasso, and I'm telling you, Silva's legit, all right? Silva is absolutely legit. She totally pieced up and destroyed Jessica Andrade on the feet. She's an amazing striker. She has pretty good takedown defense as well, and she's just dominating these women. And that is very rare to see in WMMA. Not many women's fighters get dominating performances coming up. Kyrene Silva's getting dominating performances coming up. Alexa Grasso just lost her belt. She got absolutely dominated and dog-walked by Valentina Shevchenko. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think Alexa Grasso's style is terrible for Kyrene Silva. And I probably have every single reason to take Alexa Grasso. But I am absolutely going to be backing Kyrene Silva in this fight. Kyrene Silva's looked absolutely amazing on the come-up. She's undefeated in the UFC and is coming off of a super dominant performance over Jessica Andrade. Alexa Grasso is kind of starting to take a dip in her career. She went to a draw with Shevchenko that she should not have won and then got absolutely dominated by her in the trilogy match. I just don't think that Alexa Grasso is going to be able to find anything on the feet for Kyrene Silva. Although Alexa Grasso is an amazing boxer, Kyrene Silva is a super good striker, and I'm going to take her in this fight. I think she's going to prove to the world that she is champion level caliber, and I think that Kyrene Silva would give an amazing fight to either of the two champions that are, or the two fighters that are fighting for that division's belts later on this card. And yeah, I think Kyrene Silva is the absolute future of this flyweight division, and I think that she's going to beat up Alexa Grasso by a 30-27 decision.
In the featured fight of this pay-per-view card, we have Jose Aldo taking on Amin Zahabi. Dude, the UFC hates Aldo, man. Hates Aldo. I don't know why. This disrespect is insane. Aldo comes out of retirement after getting smudged by Merab Dvalishvili in his retirement bout, and he gets Jonathan Martinez. After that, he gets Mario Batista, and then after getting robbed by a Mario Batista, they're going to give him Amin Zahabi. Aldo better knock out Amin Zahabi. He better. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. I'm picking Jose Aldo by a KO. I think he's going to sleep Amin Zahabi. Zahabi's chinny. Zahabi's not good. He's not good. His best win is, what, Javid Basharat? Pedro Munoz, maybe? Pedro Munoz right now is terrible. Pedro Munoz hasn't been good since he chinned Garbrandt. Please KO Zahabi Aldo. I don't even want to talk about this fight anymore. It's so dumb. It's actually such an it's terribly made fight, dude. Aldo better knock this guy out. He absolutely better. Moving on to the co-main event, we have Valentina Shevchenko taking on Manon Fiorot. And I've been juggling back and forth on this fight, man, all week. I still kind of don't know who I'm going to pick. But I've done some thinking. And I say this without 100% confidence. I think Manon Fiorot is going to win this UFC Flyweight Championship, and I think she will become and new, undisputed UFC Women's Flyweight Champion of the world. I think she beats Valentina Shevchenko, and let me tell you guys why. Somehow, Manon Fiorot is the favorite. Or not somehow, I just didn't really expect that. I thought Shevchenko would probably be the favorite, but listen, Manon Fiorot's got some really, really good takedown defense, and she did not let Blanchfield take her down one time in the whole 25-minute fight. Manon Fiorot's been dominating these women, although she had one weird fight with Rose Namajunas where Rose did also break her hand in that fight. She did not look very good. Manon Fiorot did not look very good in that Rose Namajunas fight. Even though she did get the job done, it was kind of lackluster. And if she shows that kind of performance against Valentina Shevchenko, I'm going to eat my words terribly. But Manon Fiorot looked absolutely great against Erin Blanchfield, and Erin Blanchfield is good. I think Erin Blanchfield's going to beat up Macy Barber next Saturday. I don't even know how it's a main event, especially over Gamrot and Klein. Like, how? But, yeah, I think that Manon Fiorot is going to get the job done. Manon Fiorot has some very, very good takedown defense. She's super, super big she's huge for this division, and she's super long and rangy on the feet. And I don't think that she's going to really let Shevchenko get her range going. And I don't think many women are really able to find their range against Manon Fiorot because she's so big for this division. And I think that she's going to be able to keep Valentina Shevchenko at range for a lot of this fight. And I think that Shevchenko is going to have to grapple if she wants to win. And I'm not going to bank on Shevchenko holding down and smudging Manon Fiorot into the canvas like she was forced to do against Alexa Grasso. If Valentina Shevchenko showed something on the feet against Grasso in that trilogy match, I would probably be picking her right now. But because of how much she did not want anything to do with Grasso on the feet, it just makes me believe that she might be losing her confidence in herself a little bit. And for that reason, I think that France is going to take this belt home tonight. And I think that Manon Fiorot is going to get the job done by a 49-46. On to the main event, we got Jack Della Maddalena coming for the knockout. And he's going to be taking on, hey bro, Bilal Muhammad. Guy hands like Canelo, bro. But, yeah, dude, I'm very, very excited for this fight. I've been picking Bilal Muhammad ever since this fight got announced. I've been riding with Bilal, all right? I'm going to be honest. I did think that Bilal was going to get the job done at first, okay? I thought, man, I mean, Leon Edwards couldn't do anything to Bilal on the feet, and, Leon Edwards, he's a really good striker. He's got good takedown defense, It was 5 a.m. And then I watched Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. And it made me think, right? Bilal Muhammad clearly lost rounds 3 and rounds 5 to Leon Edwards. Clear. Leon Edwards had Bilal's back for 3.5 minutes of round 3 and almost finished him at the end of round 5. On the ground, by the way. Almost finished Bilal on the ground. JDM's going to knock Bilal Muhammad out. So many people are picking Bilal. Leon Edwards sucks. Leon Edwards sucks. That's what I'm trying to say, all right? I get it. Bilal Muhammad did look okay on the feet against Leon Edwards. He did kind of rock Leon Edwards in round 1, right? I remember when Bilal rocked Edwards with that uppercut. I was like, listen, I just watched Bilal throw this uppercut, and now Edwards is rocked, right? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But I just have a hard time believing that Bilal Muhammad's going to look like any of that on the feet against JDM. JDM is an absolute killer on the feet, and he hunts you down. He doesn't play at range and look for the perfect shot and just throw like 10 significant strikes around like Leon Edwards. That's not JDM's game plan. When JDM's on the feet with Bilal, he's going to be looking for the KO at every single moment. And Bilal Muhammad keeps talking about putting the Canelo hands on JDM. If Bilal tries to put Canelo hands on JDM, he's getting slept. Bilal is going to have to win off control time, and he's going to have to be shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting. And Leon Edwards, right? And another thing about Leon Edwards is something that I noticed in his fight with Bilal Muhammad. Leon Edwards was content with being on the ground, right? Like Leon Edwards had Bilal's back, could have got up, did not want to, didn't want it, right? He was content with being there on the ground with Bilal Muhammad. JDM's not going to be content on the ground with Bilal Muhammad. Every single second that JDM is not on the feet, he's going to be trying to get on the feet. And I think that he's going to push the pace on Bilal Muhammad. And I think that he's going to be able to deal with Bilal Muhammad's pressure wrestling. And with that, I do think that Australia is going to take this belt home. And I think that JDM's going to knock him out in round 2. Flat, cold, second round KO for JDM. Who's with me?